Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining me for my new studio vlog. For anyone who is returning, thank you so much for coming back, and for anyone who is here for the first time, welcome, and thank you for clicking through and for giving this channel a shot. These days I feel I am focusing a lot of attention on my mornings. I feel like however the morning goes is kind of the theme for the rest of the day. So I've been trying to find ways to be a little bit productive in the morning and also have a little bit of time to relax, and I think that that has been very helpful. Lately I've been feeling like I kind of have a lot of things on my mind through the day, a lot of to-do list items that I would like to get done. So I feel like starting the morning strong is a good way to start the day, because then hopefully that will carry through for the rest of the day. One quick thing that I do is some days I'll get up and I'll right away throw in a load of laundry, which is something that takes only a minute, but it makes me feel like I've already accomplished something. So that's been kind of a positive way to start the day. I've also come back to my drop spindle a little bit more lately. Over the past couple of months, I've sort of stepped away where I was more focusing on my spinning wheel just because it's so much faster. But I think just the past week or two, I've been finding that I really like the convenience of the drop spindle because I can kind of have it with me around the house. And I find it pretty easy to just pick it up for even a minute here and there. And you don't spin a ton of yarn at a time, but it's adding up, and it's kind of just a nice break, even if it's literally, 2 minutes, 5 minutes. It's nice that it's always there and I can just kind of reach for it, instead of something that I would have to have the time to sit down at, or something that I'd have to set up a little bit more. You're about to see me get going on a sketch that I wanted to finish up, but before I do that, I wanted to quickly mention something about the drawing ink that I was using in a previous video. I mentioned that the Winsor & Newton drawing inks are light fast, and that's why I prefer to use them over my fountain pens, but I've since learned that they are actually not light fast. They are waterproof, but not light fast. In contrast, they have a calligraphy ink line, and they are not waterproof, but they are light fast. And that just means that they won't fade in the sun, so it would be something that would be suitable to be sold. When I was shopping for the Winsor & Newton calligraphy inks online, I saw that they had one that was a matte black. That kind of surprised me because I didn't know that the regular inks weren't matte, and I didn't kind of know what the difference would be, but I was intrigued and wanted to know how that would look different on the page. And also it felt like I was buying something a little bit different from what I already owned, instead of just kind of rebuying what I already had. So I decided to give the matte black a try, and I am really enjoying it. I also did a bit of a test for the different black inks. So the test on the left here is the matte black, and then on the right, that's my drawing ink. And you can see as I'm kind of shifting the paper around that the light is reflecting off the drawing ink side, which actually makes it look a little bit lighter than the matte black, even though I think they're the same value, but just with the light reflecting off of it, it looks a little bit lighter. And the matte ink has a real richness to it. It almost looks like a gouache to me in a way. For this sketch, I'm going to be using one of my fountain pens, and I just wanted to go ahead and show you which pens I have. So this first pen that I'm showing you is my TWSBI Eco, and I absolutely love this pen. Even though it's a plastic pen, I find that it has a really nice quality to it, and it definitely feels like a luxury product. The next pen here is actually the first pen that I bought, and this is my Pilot Metropolitan in the Retro Pop collection. And this is a pen that I've actually wanted for ages, and I'm so glad to finally have it. The gray ink that I have in my TWSBI pen is this Lexington Gray by Noodlers. I like that the gray is a little bit softer than like a straight black. And then I also have these little ink samples. This one here is one that I'm very excited to try. It's called Noodlers Blue Ghost, and it's actually an invisible ink. I feel like the child in me is desperate to make a Halloween drawing out of this one day. And then the one I have here is called Noodlers Rome Burning, which is a very nice kind of golden brown color. And that's the one I have in my Pilot pen right now. So that's the one I'm going to be using for my sketch. I think it was a couple of videos ago now that I was talking about how I want to make more time to draw more often. I feel like lately I've been working on picking away at larger pieces instead of completing even just a sketch, which I'm okay with in general, but I feel like because I have less time to work lately, it would be nice to do more drawings. I just think that would help me stay a little bit more warmed up so that when I go to do a drawing, I'm not feeling as rusty. So that's something I've really been focusing on this week, and I've done just a couple of sketches, but it's been more than usual, so I know I'm going in the right direction. And even the other day, I sat down to draw a handful of lemons on the table because I had just a few minutes, and it felt a lot easier and more comfortable than sketches that I've done even a month ago. So I feel like it is working and that it is kind of the right thing for me to focus on right now. This sketch is just kind of an invented bundle of some lily of the valley. This is a funny plant to me because I've always really liked the look of it. But when we bought our house a few years ago, we found that our backyard was full of lily of the valley, and we learned that it's quite poisonous. So we were a little bit worried about our new puppy, who we just got at the time, and ended up having to rip all of it out instead of getting to keep and enjoy it, which was my initial hope. I think it's kind of funny that it's such a little delicate plant. It looks very pretty, it's very non-assuming, and then happens to also be poisonous. Something about that just makes me laugh and made it something that I wanted to draw today. It was nice too to get to pull out one of the ink samples and test out a different color. Just something to change things up and keep things interesting. One thing that was a little bit difficult for me with this drawing was having to shade large, almost flat sections with the pen. I find I can almost get kind of lost, and I don't want to just fill it in where the whole thing is almost a black or like the darkest tone. I want to make sure that you can still see the details of the flowers, but also that you're getting that value showing through. One thing I've been focusing on lately too is the idea of slowing down to get more done. It's something that I don't know where this idea came from, but I keep reminding myself of it lately. I've been feeling very rushed lately because there are lots of things that I'd like to be doing, and I keep thinking if I could just get things done more quickly, I could do more things, but I find that I'm rushing through and not doing them to the level that I'd like to. One example is that I wanted to do many different sketches to figure out how I want pen and ink to sit with watercolor, and I ended up doing, I think it was something like 6 little sketches, but they were so unfinished that I found I didn't really take anything away from them. So even though I did 6 sketches, I didn't like learn anything, couldn't move forward with the information I'd gathered. Whereas I feel if I sit down and do one sketch, even if that one sketch takes me a week, but it's a little bit more finished looking, I can learn more from it. I was recently looking back through my sketchbook, and I have some sketches from right around when my daughter was born. I think she was maybe 3 months old, and I wanted to get back into drawing at all because I fully stopped when she was born. And one thing that I did was I bought my fountain pens because I didn't like the idea of using a dip pen. Couldn't really see that happening sitting next to a baby. So I got my fountain pens and I just enjoyed working on each drawing and didn't worry about learning from them or anything. I just did whatever I was excited to do. And one of those sketches took me a full month, which isn't something I would necessarily want, but the idea of taking that much time on a sketch and just digging into it and getting everything I can out of it rather than rushing through it to try to get to the next thing, I think is what I want to take away from that, kind of that memory and that idea. I think I'd like to sort of use that idea of slowing down to get more things done in many different ways too. Even thinking about my knitting and spinning, things that are supposed to be really relaxing to me, I think I've sort of got it in my head that I want to get a certain amount done. And so I'm fighting to spin and knit as fast as I can so I can get all these things done because I'm excited for them. I'm excited to have the yarn in the end and to get to knit these things and to have different sweaters, but I'm not enjoying it anymore, and knitting is not my job. So I'd rather just slow down, and yeah, I might not get some of these things done for a year, but there's nothing wrong with that. Honestly, it should be good because it means that the experience of getting to spin and getting to knit these things will last that much longer. I think I'd rather try to remember to enjoy these processes rather than just try to get more wool things in my closet. I'd like to see what I can do to pare back even just on the little things so that I can find a little bit more of that calm and just enjoy the days. Having a toddler and 2 dogs means that every day is going to be a little bit overly energetic. It's going to be, a full race to the finish every day. And I think I would like to just meet it where it is instead of trying to fight against to get more things done or to get to progress with different projects. It's hard because I am definitely a maker at heart, and I want to get to look back and see the things that I physically made. But today I spent a good chunk of time curled up on the couch watching Tinkerbell with my daughter sitting in my lap, and that was pretty great. I didn't make anything in that time, but it was very relaxing and I was rejuvenated after, so I think just making a little bit more time for that would be pretty great. Another thing I'd like to do is get super organized. I feel like there is an IKEA trip coming up in my very near future. I'm just feeling like there's a lot of stuff in this house right now, and I would like to see less of it and maybe own less of it. I think that that's something that could bring me a lot of peace. I feel I should rewatch that Marie Kondo special on Netflix. That was a good one. I guess mostly what I want out of the next few months, if I had it my way, would be to have a little bit more calm and a little more patience. Just the patience and confidence that slow and steady will win the race. Even if a sketch takes me a whole week, whereas I'd love to get it done in 30 minutes. Or even if I have a week where my daughter's really teething and I don't have the opportunity to really sit down and do a lot of drawing or painting. I think if I could have a little bit more of that patience and that presence of mind, that would help a lot. And a little bit of the realization that right now, even just remembering to water my houseplants is a complete and total win. Things are busy, but they are also great. And I think, if I could just rise to where the days are and kind of ride the wave that it is and try to enjoy it as much as I can, that would be the best way to get the most out of this time. This was my favorite part of this sketch. I think with pen and ink, I really do prefer working in smaller sections, and I loved just dotting in the details on these flowers. It was very fun and satisfying, and I really love how it brought the flowers to the forefront. This was a really fun sketch to work on, and there are certain things that you work on and you feel a little bit tired after, but this one I felt like it sort of rejuvenated me. One of the things that I've been working on making lately is a stocking for Christmas. I knit my daughter a stocking last year, and it's the green one that you see coming out of the bag. And that's the only one I got done. I was hoping to knit one for myself and my husband as well, but they did not get done in time. I literally was seaming my daughter's on Christmas Eve as everyone's going to bed just to get it up before I went to bed. So this one here in the red color is going to be mine. I'm pretty excited about the pattern. I wanted to keep it fairly simple, something that I could just enjoy working on. And I like that this more vertical pattern has the color work all over, but I didn't have to think too much about getting a ton of different motifs to use. I'm really enjoying how it's working up, and I'm really enjoying working on it. Because this is knit with big needles, using big yarn, it's going pretty quick, and I'm excited to get my husband's going right after this one so that I can hopefully get both done before Christmas. For my husband's, I have this moose motif that I really want to use. I have Alice Starmore's book that has different charts for color work. And there's a moose in there that I'd really love to put on his stocking. So we'll see if that ends up happening. Hopefully I'll get to show you that before Christmas. I like to keep one knitting project kind of handy in the living room so that if there's ever any downtime through the day, I can pick it up and work on it in the little bits here and there. And I love that by using this bigger yarn, it's working up really quickly. So even if I only have maybe 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there, it's actually coming together and I can see the progress being made day after day. Color work knitting is so satisfying to me. I love seeing the motifs coming together, and I can't wait to get this one done and ready to go for Christmas. I know that we're still a ways off, but I'm hoping to have it done, you know, before we're going to bed on Christmas Eve. Wish me luck. Thank you so much for joining me for this studio vlog. I hope you are all having a wonderful day. We'll see you all again in 2 weeks.